We have heard counsel for the appellant and the learned standing counsel for the respondents at length stop para. It is not in dispute that the claim of the appellant for compassionate appointment was made under the 1974 rules stop. The relevant portion of Rule 5 under bracket 1 of the 1974 rules is extracted below colon para code. Recruitment of a member of the family of the deceased staff. In case a government servant dies in harness after the commencement of these rules and the spouse of the deceased government servant is not already employed under the central government or a state government or a corporation owned or controlled by the central government or a state government, one member of his family who is not already employed under the central government or a state government or a corporation owned or controlled by the central government or a state government shall, on making an application for the purposes, be given a suitable employment in government service on a post except the post which is within the purview of the Uttar Pradesh Public Service Commission, in relaxation of the normal recruitment rules. Stop D code para. Perusal of the aforesaid extracted sub rule under bracket 1 of Rule 5 of 1974 rules would indicate that the claim for compassionate appointment is not maintainable where the spouse of the deceased government servant is already employed under the central government or a state government or a corporation owned or controlled by the central government or a state government. Stop para. In the instant case, there is no dispute that the spouse of the deceased employee, namely Tabassum Khan, is employed as head mistress of a primary institution under the Board of Basic Education which is established by the state government under section 3 of the UP Basic Education Act, 1972 and is under the control of the state government as per section 13 of the 1972 Act. Stop para. The learned counsel for the appellant to wriggle out of the situation submits that Tabassum Khan is appellant's stepmother. Stop. Appellant is son of predeceased wife of deceased employee Rahat Hussain. Therefore, appellant's case is a typical case where he would get no benefit of his stepmother's employment. Stop para. The above submission is not acceptable because compassionate appointment cannot be claimed as of right. Stop. It can be provided only if the policy of the rules governing such appointment permits. Stop. Rule 5 under bracket 1 allows a claim for compassionate appointment only when the spouse of the deceased employee is not already employed under the central government or a state government or a corporation owned or controlled by the central government or a state government. Therefore, once it is not in dispute that Tabassum Khan, spouse of the deceased employee was under employment as noticed above, the claim for compassionate appointment was not sustainable. Stop. Consequently, the claim of the petitioner for compassionate appointment was rightly rejected and the learned single judge was justified in dismissing the writ petition. Stop para. The appeal is dismissed. Stop.